Hello, this is my first ever video. I am relatively new to keeping fish. I have had fish for 2 years. However, those were beta. And 6 months ago, I started keeping other fish. I still live in my parents' house. I am 18, so I had to convince them to get me the fish, as I don't have a job. So, this is a 40-gallon tank. It's secondhand. Pretty well all the tanks. Actually, all of my tanks are secondhand. So I actually got them all on Kijiji through other fish people. Now, my beta are something I have bought myself, and a few other fish I have bought from the pet stores, but most came with the tanks. So if I'm wrong about a certain fish, tell me, because we did the best we could to figure out what fish was what. So, this is a 40-gallon that I've had set up for about 5.5 months-ish. It's 5 or 6 months, I honestly don't remember. I can look back on the date. This tank did not come with anybody. It came as just the tank and the sand and filter and one or two decorations. But most have come from me. Most of the decorations in here have come from me. I love heavily planted tanks. I love not having to be able to cycle, because we don't travel too much, but we have a very chaotic life, so I may not always have time to do water changes exactly when they need to be done. So I love having to, or just being able to just let my tank be, not having to do water changes. So I do self-sustaining tanks, but this one's plants, a few plants you can see are doing pretty well, but for the most part, this tank does not have very many plants. I am getting CO2, I think is what it was, to put in this tank to hopefully get the plants to explode. As you can see, I have a little big air stone in the back to make some air bubbles. So this is a semi-aggressive tank. In here I have a rainbow shark, which is something I actually bought. Now, it's not recommended to 40-gallon is the smallest you can keep a rainbow shark in. I had intended to size it up. I had actually gotten a 65-gallon with fish to put the rainbow shark in. Said 65-gallon came with a red-tailed shark. There was a few unidentified fish in the tank because the person who had owned it before me forgot what they had in there. Well, apparently red-tailed shark was one of them. So, red-tailed and rainbow sharks cannot be kept together. So this guy is, or gal, is in here and staying in here for a while until I can get another tank. So, yeah. That was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. So, in here, the only thing I personally bought were 2 mystery snails. Now, a few have died, these 2. That one's still alive. Overall, I think I've lost 3 mystery snails out of 6. Now, who knows how old the 4 that came with the tank were. Because the person didn't even know that they're mystery snails. I know, because I love mystery snails, but he just said, they said that they had 2 yellow snails and whitey and 2 whitish colored snails. They ended up being mystery snails. When I looked at the photo, I knew, okay, those are mystery snails. So I actually have a big black one that I gotten from the pet store. It's in here somewhere. Yeah. This tank has a lot of algae on it. I need to clean it, but this one has a bunch of algae on it, which I'm not too concerned about, as I do have algae eaters in here. So, yeah. This is either a emerald barb or a blue barb, and I can't remember which. Those are tiger barbs. They came with the 65-gallon tank that I have, and I'll show later. They are not a fish I bought, but they work perfectly in here. The rosy red minnows are something I bought. I love minnows. I love my rosy red minnows. The beta are something I have bought. The rainbow shark, and then the two of the Danios I bought. Two of the zebra Danios. Now, I'd bought 5 of the zebra Danios. One choked on poop on its way home. It's like, really? So when I bought this one, I had bought originally 5 zebra Danios. One choked on poop on its way home. I've never had that happen. Don't know how it managed it, but it did. And they said as long as you had lots of hiding rooms, Danios were a good roommate for a rainbow shark, from what I could find online. So I came home, I put it in my tank, which I had not quite all the decor, but most of the decor in here. It killed 2 of the Danios, so I'm like, okay. So then I used a separator up here. It was the larger one, and I just left the 2 Danios in there for a few weeks until one of them managed to escape overnight, and I found it in the morning. It was doing fine, so I decided to release the other one on trial, and they were fine. So one thing I've learned about the little sharks is they become extremely aggressive when moved. So if you intend to put them in with other fish, you have to separate the other fish in a separator, because otherwise they will kill them. But as you can see, this one's doing excellent in with all these guys. I mean, you'll see 1 or 2 chases every once in a little while, but nothing huge. So in here I have a bunch of zebra Danios, a rosy Danio, which is right there. And 10 or 11 rosy red minnows. And then, now this is one thing we don't know. They're either like the Siamese or the Siamese algae eaters or Chinese algae eaters, and I'm not sure. I've got 2 red ones, 1 brown one. They came with the tank, and what we found online is they looked like Chinese, but they're not. But then they've got the stripe, which is like the Siamese, so it's like, I don't know. That's one of the red ones. That's the larger of the 2 red ones. There's a gray one and another red one in here. We just kind of go around. So yeah, I am purposely letting the algae grow out on this tank because I managed to get a little mystery snail clutch, egg clutch. So once they're big enough that they're not going to become a snack for everyone in the tank, I'm going to actually release them into this tank, because this tank likes to grow algae, so it's like a perfect place to grow them out. Here I have some purple heart, some geraniums, I forgot what it's called, some lettuce I'm trying to root. So I definitely love my plants in here. Some duckweed. Now, I had managed to breed betas. First fish I ever had were betas, and I managed to breed them. The first breed, from everything I found online, which definitely made me feel a lot better, first spawn of fish owner gets like their first litter spawn, don't normally survive. Well, mine survived. Well, some of them survived. I ended up with a lot. Anyway, this is one of my adults, and this is one of the spawn, except spawn is over a year old. They are a year and about 4 months. So it's like, okay, they're not growing. They really weren't growing. I was feeding them. I had separated them upon aggression appearing. I could not figure out why they were not growing. I was trying everything I could think of. Well, I was moving some things around in my room, which is where I keep my fish tanks. And I have them in these little containers that I do water changes on and such, and I have some gravel and plants in the bottom. But they were in my way for what I was doing. So I took, and since I have guppies, I have a bunch of these little baby boxes. Birthing boxes, whatever you want to call them. I took and put the bait in here. This one was half that size not even 2 weeks ago. They freaking loved this tank. They're exploding in size and exploding in color. It's like, okay, wow, you're almost the size of the one I got from the fish store. So I was super happy about that. So these are definitely, once the beta become aggressive, a good way to keep a large number of beta in a fish tank, because this is a semi-aggressive tank. And these guys are so small, they get picked on. So I really don't want them getting hurt in here. So the separator keeps them safe, keeps the other fish safe. I had tried to introduce a beta into this tank, and I had to rescue the beta. Because it's like, okay, betas are notorious for being on a more aggressive fish, but they can still be in a community tank. Nope. The beta was hiding. The beta was being hunted. I had to rescue the beta. So that was interesting. But these little separators have worked utter wonders for me, because I can just keep them in here. I don't have to worry about too much overfeeding, as I do, I need to again. But I will actually take the beta out and set him in these temporarily, like even my adult ones, and I will take and release all this into the water for the snails and the other fish to eat, and clean those up, and then put the beta back in. Oh, and another thing. Okay, so you see these little guys? These are worms. I freaked when I saw them. I was like, oh no, I have an infestation. They're a form of detritus worm. They're just a sign that you're overfeeding your tank. It's not actually, ironically enough, this tank that I'm overfeeding. I've actually been taking them from another tank and putting them in here to give these guys some extra food. They love it. And then they'll come, and the worms will come and hide behind these because it's the only place safe in the tank. So, this tank looks terrible. I know that. But I'm not sure how to make it look better without getting rid of a bunch of food sources for these guys. So you can see they're all just coming up here and cleaning up and eating and all the algae and everything, and they'll do that. Also, if you ever decide to get barbs, watch out. They can be slightly frightening. They will just sit there in a circle staring out of the tank or at another thing inside the tank. They look like they're having a mob meeting. I swear to gosh. I did not know barbs did that until I looked over and my barbs were doing that. It's like, what the actual frick? Oh, and behold, a little cleaner. Now, I do want shrimp. Shrimp are pretty expensive here, though. So, when crayfish came with that 65-gallon, I was extremely happy. So here is a little crayfish. If anyone actually knows what kind of crayfish that is, love to know. There's the little guy. And he just moves around the bottom of the tank, cleaning up all the algae and stuff. I don't actually feed this tank algae wafers. I just let them clean up the algae in here. And they are all doing great. I mean, I have not seen any problems, not really seen any huge signs of aggression. Everyone looks pretty full. They don't look like they're being overfed. So I'm wondering what other fish people or fish enthusiasts think. And I'm just mainly looking for hints on how to make my fish lives better. That won't, I will fully admit, that won't cost me a pretty penny, as, once again, still broke and living with my parents and have no job. I have some long-finned zebra danios. Where did it just go? And some normal-finned zebra danios. Now, my zebra danios have spawned before, but they ate all the eggs. I have more of those that I have to find. I don't remember where I put them. And I have other round marbles coming as well that I'm going to cover the front, because they seem to like spawn over here and in here. So I'm just going to cover the front in the marbles and hope that keeps the, them from eating their spawn. We'll see. Because I'm hoping with all that decor and stuff in the back and plants that the babies would survive and grow up. I love breeding. Oh, here's the little brown one. Oh, gee. Yeah, there's the little gray brown one. I don't know if those are Chinese or Siamese. Because Chinese is what the Google Lens thingy says. But they look like Siamese to me. So, I don't know. And one might be surprised, but my minnows are actually higher on the food chain than one would expect. So, minnow, one expects a flighty, spookish fish. No. My male, that one, I have more males, but that one's my older male and bigger, will actually chase my rainbow shark away if it wants something the rainbow shark has. It's like, okay, surprise. And I know I make it sound like there's a lot of chasing going around in the tank, but there isn't really. I do not have much chasing going on in this tank. They look like happy fish. Then again, I'm used to beta, so. Anyway, goodbye. Like if you liked it. If not, don't like it, and maybe tell me why. And subscribe if you want to see more of my chaotic fish tanks. Also, if anyone has any idea what or who's eating my plants, could they maybe leave a comment? Because I would like them to stop eating my plants.